Welcome back to my channel. I'm Tanya Ray, and today I'm going to do a message for the collective via tarot and oracle on what do we need to know about this pink moon in Libra on April 12th. It's okay if you're watching this afterwards because the energies tend to stick around for at least 3 days afterwards. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I've been feeling this full moon energy since about Monday. And like I said, the full moon doesn't actually happen until Saturday evening. So the other thing is that messages tend to find us when we need them. So even if you're watching this months or years later, perhaps there's something in it that you are meant to hear if you're feeling called to it. Let's get into it. What does the collective need to know about this pink moon? And by the way, I don't do any research on the moon aside from which moon it is because I don't want that to skew the messages coming through. So you might be somebody who already knows what the proper rituals or ceremonies would be for this particular full moon and what it tends to, be like, but I don't know that information because I want to just be able to pull the information from the cards and my own intuition. All right, we have 8 of Swords. I love the picture of the 8 of Swords in this particular card deck, by the way, because it depicts the mind drama energy of the 8 of Swords so well, in my opinion. The mind prison, I should say. That's what I always call that card. It's a mind prison, meaning we get so stuck in our thoughts and we take them to mean fact because that's what they feel like for us. But most of them are just belief systems that can be changed if we were to check ourselves on it or we were to dig a little bit deeper. So anyway, the 8 of Swords is giving us a little bit of tough love here. It's saying it's time to look at our messy brains a little bit closer and see where we're creating our own misery through our belief systems, through our thoughts. And it tends to be the energy of I can't because of this, or, something that has a very victim mentality energy to it. And this full moon seems to be telling us it's time to let that go. Let that shit go. I know, easier said than done. One of the exercises you can do is take a specific area of your life where you feel like things are just not going the way that you would like them to. You feel stuck, or you feel sort of victim-y in that. Take a few minutes, write down every thought that comes to your mind on that topic. Let's just say it's making money. Everything that you believe, everything that comes to your mind in 10 to 15 minutes about making money and your ability to do so. Write it down after the 10 to 15 minutes, go over it, circle the ones that really stick out to you, and start evaluating, why do I believe that? Is it true? Is there any way that I could believe something else? And here's the thing. I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but here's the thing. Sometimes you need bridge thoughts. Sometimes just deciding I'm going to think a different thought isn't enough. There's also the digging in a little bit deeper. Sometimes we have to evaluate where did this thought even come from and all of that. But bridge thoughts can be a good way to start this out. What if I thought something different? What if I just made this a little bit more neutral? So, for example, I can't make money. Maybe I can make money. Instead of jumping right towards, I am the most abundant person in the world and I make all of the money flows to me, all of that stuff because it's great. But if you don't believe it, it's not going to do anything. So using some kind of bridge thoughts to get yourself there can sometimes be very helpful. Okay, we went really on a tangent there, but Eight of Swords is telling us that this full moon is asking us to actually look at our mind drama, all of that craziness going on in there, and clearing it out a little bit. What are we holding on to that is causing us misery? And understanding that we create that in our own minds. That's the only limitation. It's created in our own mind. Oops, we have a card on the floor. We have the Ace of Cups. When we allow ourselves to do that work, to let go of those limiting beliefs, the scarcity mindsets, the victim mentalities, the I can'ts, it's not for me, all the stuff, we start on a new path. The cups are about emotions, and our emotions drive our success and our demise, okay? So following through with getting clear on what it is that's holding us back is going to help us move forward. You've got to do the work though. This is a good indicator that there is this death and rebirth energy coming out of this. This energy of starting fresh and being more aligned with higher vibrational emotions like love and compassion. And I don't know why, but it's also giving moon water. I don't know if this is a good moon to make moon water. I think we're out of eclipse season, so probably that might be something that helps you to let go, to process the emotions, because you do have to allow the emotions in order to heal, in order to move forward. So this isn't about avoiding them, but it's about not being stuck because we're afraid to feel them. All right, Six of Wands. Oh my goodness. So this new beginning, because you have said, you know what? I don't need to be in this mind drama anymore. I'm in control of that shit. Is going to allow you to stand in your power, to be seen, even if it's only by yourself, but usually this card tends to mean by others as well, to truly be seen, to be more confident, to be able to say what you mean. In other words, if you choose to do this work on yourself, it's not going to go unnoticed. You are going to be seen. You're probably going to be recognized in some way that you have not been before. Because when we clear up some of that emotional stuff that we have, that we're holding on to, in the belief systems that are only limiting us, then we open up a lot of doors. So in doing the work and looking at, I have these belief systems that are self-limiting, or I am looking at my life and playing the victim in some way. I'm in that mind prison. If you choose to break out of that, you are going to be recognized for that in some way, for the work that you do, for the way that you show up in the world. Because when we break ourselves out of those limitations and we allow ourselves to truly be seen, even by ourselves, other people obviously feel that and they notice you, they see you in a different light, full stop, meaning that this could open up doors for you to be recognized for the things that you've already contributed. Big energies coming out of this full moon. She has a lot to say. But she's saying very loudly, Nine of Pentacles, that it is time to allow yourself to be seen, not only by you, but by others. And success is coming your way as long as you're willing to open yourself up a little bit more. And, emotions might be a little bit high in doing this. But remember that so often we're afraid of feeling the emotion and what that's going to be like, that we forget that the actual processing of an emotion takes about 90 seconds. So it's not that it doesn't come up again, but it's not as big and scary in the moment as we think it's going to be. What's actually worse for us and our systems and for keeping us here is staying in that fear so that we're always just a little bit on edge. We're always just a little bit dysregulated, or a lot of it, okay? With that, I think there's one more tarot card to round it out, and then we're going to do some soul journey lesson cards. Seven of Pentacles. So the Seven of Pentacles is asking you to make a choice. Are you going to stay the person that you are and hold on to any belief systems that are not serving you anymore? Or I guess you can look at it as, how are they serving you? Because they're serving a purpose. But are they allowing you to go where you truly want to go? So making the decision of, do I want to take a look at this and evaluate, where am I keeping myself stuck? And I know that it's scary. This is why we don't do it. This is why we resist and avoid. But can you look at this? Look at the past. What worked, what didn't, as objective as you can be. Just, these are the facts. This is what happened. And of course, it's not going to be easy to do that, because we do have our belief systems and our thoughts that we think are fact. But what happened, what worked, what didn't, and how can we move forward? How can we step into this newer version of ourselves that allows to be seen, that believes that things are possible, that we want, that we truly want, but there's somewhere in there that there's some resistance, and I don't actually believe it's possible for me. It's just something that I want. So there's a decision that needs to be made. Are you going to stand in the Six of Wands energy and allow yourself to shine? Which is going to take truth, at facing the truth. Or are you going to stay in the mind prison? And probably you haven't stuck around if you're like, I'm not in that. But I think we all have something. Some of us, it's bigger. Some of us have many mind prisons on many topics. And some of us have done a lot of that work. So there's just this one lingering belief system. You don't have to do them all if you're one of the people like myself who has many areas of life. Pick one that feels the hardest or feels the easiest. It doesn't matter. Whichever one you feel like you can make some progress on. And try it. Try the thought work. Okay, let's see what the Soul's Journey cards have to say. We already dropped one. So a card fell, and it definitely wants to be read. It is for this reading because it is self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. If we were able to shift our thinking to what I came here to do, what my natural aptitudes are, as well as the things that I have learned and can contribute, can put on the table, they were meant to be here, and maybe I'm the only person that can bring that exact energy. I don't mean that in some sort of ego-driven way of like I am the best and you're not going to succeed without me type of energy, because I definitely don't relate to anyone who says like I am special and only I can do this thing. But only you can do it the way that you do it. Only you bring that exact energy. And what if somebody needs that? You definitely need to allow yourself to express that. But then what if it benefits others? If we look at things like that, then it's a lot easier to put ourselves out there, because we realize we're not putting someone else out, but we are doing a disservice to them if we aren't offering the thing that they might be waiting for. You might be holding the thing that someone else is waiting for. How's that for self-esteem? Growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. This is exactly what we're talking about in this reading. Growth. Emotional growth. Understanding ourselves at a deeper level and being able to express that more authentic version of ourselves, because we've done the work in seeing ourselves. Now, I understand this is a lot of energy for one full moon. This is just the catalyst. It's not necessarily that it's going to happen overnight. What the moon is doing is inviting you to take a look at your belief systems. And what are they costing you versus bringing into your... And I think we have one more card. This was only meant to be like a maybe 10-minute reading. So yeah, there's a lot of big energies. We've got fear. I realize that I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. By the way, all three of these cards are yellow, orange. So that would be solar plexus mainly, but also sacral, if we're talking about the orange color. And our solar plexus chakra is our personal power center. That's our self-esteem, our self-confidence, our ability to be seen, like I said. And so stepping out of that fear. And in order to step out of it, we have to acknowledge that it exists, right? Because if we're hiding from it, if we're, just chugging along and sort of avoiding and resisting, we're not actually stepping out of that. And sometimes, honestly, it's about doing things anyway, right? Everything's uncomfortable. There's going to be a level of fear usually, or at least resistance, when we are trying to do something new, because it's new. And so there's going to be unknowns, and that causes fear in us, but doing it anyway. So we have self-esteem, growth, and fear are lessons that we're learning through this full moon. And of course, these are big energies. So we're not talking about this being something that's going to take place just over the full moon. It's probably going to take place over the full cycle until our next full moon. Now, just as a recap, what you can do in this full moon, like specifically around the moon, to get this started is to look at your belief systems. Take one topic in your life or one issue in your life where you are not exactly where you want to be. And maybe you feel stuck, like I've tried everything. Look at your belief systems. Take a good look at them and decide, is it time for me to start rewiring these so that I can move into that newer version of myself that stands in confidence, that allows myself to be seen and thus brings in more success. Again, that's a decision that you are being called to make in this full moon energy. The rest of it will be a progression, of course. So have an amazing full moon. Let me know if this message resonates. And I am really curious if some of you watching this know more about the themes of this moon specifically, because this feels like really big energy. If this falls in line with what you know about it or the rituals that you planned on partaking in. And I'll see you soon.